Okay, it says we're live. Those watching the YouTube recording, hang tight while we do a little bit of housekeeping. I need to post the YouTube link in the Telegram channel. And then we'll get this meeting going.
I'm going to smile this time.
Okay, put the link there. And bring up the agenda.
Oh, you caught me without a smile. Okay. Again.
Okay, welcome to the Permissionless Software Foundation Community Committee. It's April 21st. And let's do a quick round of introductions, actually, before we go into it. I am Chris Troutner, founded the PSF and just sort of helping manage the community. David, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm David R. Allen. I'm doing business development for the Permissionless Software Foundation as well.
And Daniel, why don't you give a quick intro?
I'm Daniel. I'm a software developer for the PSF, been working since the beginning.
Right on. Yeah, Daniel's heading up wallet.fullstack.cache and message.fullstack.cache and just doing a lot of the front end development. So if you guys use our apps, anybody watching this uses our apps, you have Daniel to thank for it. So the agenda's pretty short today. I was hoping to have more people in here from the VIP meeting room like Don Wonton. But I wanted to use today's meeting to just recap on sort of the priorities for the community. And of course, I'll share my perspective, but what I'm really interested in is getting other people's perspectives. Whatever we cover in this meeting, I'm hoping we'll continue the conversation on the Permissionless Software Foundation Telegram channel, and particularly the VIP room if there's people in the community with skin in the game who feel strongly and want their opinion heard. I'm all ears. So I've got a list of priorities here that are sort of the active projects that are going on right now. And I tried to break them up into high, medium, low priorities, how I see them. With it being April 21st, May 15th, there's going to be a network upgrade for both the Bitcoin Cash and the ABC or eCash blockchains. So we're busy getting ready for that. This is not anticipated to be a contentious fork on either of the blockchains, but it is a scheduled fork. So everyone is required to update the software, including all the infrastructure we're running on fullstack.cache to support the PSF community. So I'm fully in the process of those upgrades and getting ready so that we have a smooth transition. So that's the highest priority. The next highest priority that I'm focused on is fullstack.cache. We have wallet.fullstack.cache, which is our web wallet. We just recently took the alpha warning label off of that because it's reached a level of stability. And now that it's stable and we have these excellently developed tools, we need to create documentation to encourage other developers to use those tools to build their own web apps. We never intended wallet.fullstack.cache to be an end user wallet. Instead, we always intended it to be a developer tool and encourage businesses and developers to fork it as sort of a boilerplate to then begin hacking on to build their own web wallets to just sort of get them kicked off and launched into an idea. So now that the app's working and it's stable, the next big step for us is to add documentation, because there's quite a few pieces of software that make up wallet.fullstack.cache, and we need to illustrate what those are, how they fit together, and how to interact with them as a developer. there's front end libraries, there's back end libraries, and there's sort of middleware libraries. So we need to document all of that better than is done now. So that's another priority. And then Gary Nadir, who is been contracting with the Permissionless Software Foundation to work on the Avalanche SLP bridge, is nearing completion. So that's the third highest priority in my book is just getting that launched. We're all really excited to be able to move tokens between blockchains in this manner. So I'm pretty excited about that. And then, not everything can be a high priority, unfortunately. So I had to throw a few things into these lower priorities. So even though I'm extremely excited about the pay to web database idea that I shared in our last technical meeting, and the JSON RPC over IPFS, this is not a high priority at this moment, but we are making steady progress on that. I think that is going to be a very important element in keeping the price of the PSF token up as we move forward. So I'm excited to explore it, for that reason, and as well as technological reasons. And then we are actively looking for a developer who can work on this CoinJoin protocol, if anybody is interested in this, but adding financial privacy both for the Avalanche chain and the Bitcoin Cash chain and the eCash chain. If we develop the protocol, the way we want to develop the protocol, it'll be chain agnostic, so it'll work on any chain that has UTXOs. So all three of those blockchains have those prerequisites. And so this would be a paid contract position. We're going to put a blog post up on the PSF website with more details. But if there's any JavaScript developers listening to this who are interested in it, reach out to us and we'll have more details for you. And then for the low priority, I mean, NFTs are all the rage. I think it's the market's starting to cool off a little bit in terms of the hype. But we do definitely want to continue moving forward with wallet.fullstack.cash and the NFT support for that application. Stoyan has been, who's been on several of these meetings before, is interested in doing it. So we're going to create a bounty for him to continue the work on there. He's already got such a head start over everybody else in the space, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to NFTs on the Bitcoin Cash blockchain, and sort of not just the display of it, but the actual structure of it. He's really got some things figured out that I don't see anybody else working on. So that's a lower priority, mainly because once he fulfills the bounty, it'll just create more work in terms of reviewing it and merging it and updating the wallets and all that stuff. But so we want to work on it, but we just can't prioritize it. But we're going to keep working on it. So with that, let me open it up to David and Daniel. What do you guys think about these priority lists? Do you think we should make something that's high priority more lower priority, or lower priority higher priority? Should we add some things to this list? This was just what I came up with in a few minutes of thinking about it.
Well, my only comment is that the infrastructure for the May 15th network upgrades is going to have to be the highest priority anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how much work that is. So maybe.
It's taking a lot of my time, but it's not really taking anybody else's time. And it's what I've done every 6 months for the last 3 years. So it's a lot of work, but it's all stuff I've done before. So it's happening rather smoothly.
The only other aspect that I think is important is that some of the making people aware of the work that the PSF is doing. I think we could probably be a little bit more assertive in that. And I know that there's some funds that have been set aside for that. So, I see our work from the non-programming side to be more focused on that.
Okay, that's good feedback. Is there anything specific that you'd like to add to this list? Maybe some of that could get rolled into the launch of the SLP bridge because
Yeah, that's kind of where
Yeah.
I'm seeing it being the most logical. I didn't see it as being sort of a separate category. I just saw it as being something that ties in with each of the priorities, but initiating that so that we're in a position to make announcements in a more public way
yeah, and
around the 15th, which isn't that far away, obviously.
right. And from a infrastructure standpoint, I want to make sure that we can. I think that when we launch the, we're going to do it slowly, but I think that once we are in full swing of the launch of the SLP Avalanche Bridge, it's going to get a lot of notice. So I want to make sure our infrastructure is in a place where it can handle that.
And I guess part of that is
Yeah.
just making sure our messaging is consistent across the board, and for sure.
Yeah, I was thinking that that launch of the SLP bridge is going to create a lot of playing around with that. So it's important that we have everything going smooth, so it won't be bugs or something like that that take away the cool things about that.
Yeah, good feedback. Good feedback. Yeah, I'm similarly like it's kind of hard to boil all. I mean, Daniel, you know the Trello board that we use to organize our work, and it's like it's
Yeah.
huge, and there's tasks everywhere, and so it's weird to like boil that down into like 3 bullet points.
Yeah, it's not it's not that's not easy. But well, in general, that for my opinion is a good list of priorities right now. I will say that the medium priorities are also like high priorities, but we can't cover everything. So
Yeah,
in that regard.
agreed. Yeah. So just to sort of look at this same list through the lens of sort of financial health of the organization. One of the reasons I'm really excited about the pay to web database, which is built on top of the JSON RPC for IPFS, is that I think that will directly impact the PSF token in a positive way. It'll cause a lot of tokens to get burned through use. So that's one thing where I'm really excited about. We don't totally have the monetization strategy for the SLP bridge worked out yet, but that's been really good so far. And then of course there's been a significant uptake in people joining our community support Telegram channel for BCHJS and all the full stack.cash tools. So, and there has been a significant uptick in people purchasing monthly subscriptions to increase rate limits on full stack.cash. So that kind of goes along with this, even though this is more of a behind the scenes thing, it directly affects our ability to stay operational. So, yeah, in terms of priorities, I think this reflects well our financial reality of the things that are actually going to make the coin more valuable and bring more people into the community and just increase our growth trajectory in all respects. Well, yeah, so that's pretty much what was on the agenda. I'd like to continue this conversation in the permissionless software foundation Telegram channel. So if people watching this or looking at the agenda have some feedback, let's definitely continue the conversation there. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to cover in this meeting?
I didn't have anything specific.
Okay. Well, Aaron, I didn't get a chance to introduce you. I appreciate you joining it. And before we started recording this, we had a pretty good conversation about NFTs and virtual reality and 3D imagery and how all those things might come together. So I appreciate that conversation. Is there anything that you wanted to add before we sign off?
Not that I can think of. I'm just interested in learning and trying to line up you got to use lasers to line this stuff up to get it photographed right. It's a pain, but
Nice.
you know, it's part of the physical world. That's why I like the computer stuff a little bit better, because I can program it and be like, all right, I know it's going to do that. You know, with this stuff, I got to be like, nudge, nudge,
Yeah.
nudge, and you know.
Yeah, you're right at that
Steer it
intersection
straight,
of the
that's where this
physical
one's-
world and the digital world. So Aaron,
Yeah,
if you haven't had a chance to yet, I recommend watching the last technical steering committee meeting. Stoyan was we did a quick demo of some of the NFT technology that Stoyan's been working on, and he showed he's come up with this protocol that for essentially categorizing NFTs, so that a wallet can automatically figure out like, oh, this NFT is attached to a video, or this NFT is attached to a picture or a music file or something else.
Yeah.
And then that content that's on the IPFS network, or it's on this blockchain, or it's over here on this private server. And so a wallet can just automatically figure those things out and display the content. So when we were talking earlier about combining 3D photography with virtual reality, and having like a trophy room in your virtual reality room that you can click on and then open the media, that protocol that he's developed is I think is a clear path to the intersection of those technologies. And if we can get better NFT support in our web wallet, then it's a very pragmatic jump from there to get some sort of app working. I'm completely ignorant of app development in the virtual reality space. I'm hoping to learn more about just what it would take to build tools in that type of environment, what a virtual reality development environment looks like. What's
nice is there are a lot of people working on it, just like there's a lot of people working on crypto. So there's a lot of code bases and a lot of different things where people are pioneering. It's very new, but that's also kind of what is exciting, you know? So yeah, I saw that last week, and I'm, trying to digest it because it's pretty complex for me, but I'm still getting, that's where he was attaching like a URL location to one token, right? And then that would reference another.
Yeah. Essentially, the transaction that created the token and brought it into existence references a second transaction, and that second transaction is what lets the wallet like automatically figure out like, oh, here's where the payload's stored, and then figure out how to display it.
Yeah, that is really cool, and yeah, I definitely see an avenue for this, and that's one of those. When I'm thinking of NFTs, I think there is a lot more than meets the eye, and a lot more than what people think. And I've had people go, well, what's the point? Like, you can copy this picture, you can copy this audio, and there's more to it than that, And I think there are ways that if it can be secured, these NFTs now become keys to unlocking the assets, essentially.
Right.
Exactly. And then it's no different than having a physical possession in your house, and you can go and sell that on Craigslist, and now it's that other person's possession. Well, it's the same thing with digital assets. And I see the space, like I said, I see the space moving in that direction to where we're digitizing the world and able to sell that to within 10 years. I think we'll be selling digital spaces to the average person to populate on their phone or VR or on a compute desktop, you name it. We're gonna be seeing dome televisions very shortly. That's part of the reason I got into the 360 stuff. OLED screens can be curved. If they can be curved, they can be made into a dome. If they can be made into a dome, they can project 360 video onto that. And it's going to start like cell phones, where really rich people have dome televisions, and it's going to move into the average home very quickly. And we're going to go from saying, how did we, we're going to say, how did we ever watch on a box?
Yeah, that's what I'm
You
seeing
know?
happen right now with the VR headsets, is like that those things have been around, that now the people getting the new version are like selling the old version to the not so rich kids. And it's the same thing as like the
Mhm.
Nintendo, like they always came out with the next model, and then all the people who couldn't
Yeah.
afford the new model like bought the old model off the people who could. And
Well, and then the Quest does that too. I mean, the Quest price point for a freestanding VR headset, you can get in at $300.
mhm,
That's nuts.
mhm,
I mean, the software can get a little expensive, but if you're savvy enough, you can sideload free games from anywhere on the internet,
hmm,
you know, and you can play those games on your headset,
interesting.
or you can, if you have a PC,
Hmm.
like I can run PC VR games and stream them to the Quest. I don't even need a connection, and that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I definitely see that there is this huge space for this stuff, and it's going to take a while to develop, but once it does, you're going to see Craigslist for NFTs selling digital assets, whether it's a token for climbing Mount Everest, or it's some piece of software that you load into a game,
Hmm.
because they already do that for like Unity has its asset store, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Well, it's centralized.
Hmm.
Imagine if that was decentralized on an IPFS network.
Right,
And,
exactly. That's
you know,
so there's two things here. There's the actual development of the NFT industry, but then there's the secondary market for trading NFTs and tokens and coins. And so that pay to write database that I was talking about, that's, in my view, that's our key to getting to a secondary market where people can freely trade these NFT assets and other types of
mhm.
assets. And then this
Yeah,
committee, this community committee, and our technical steering committee, they're intended to, when we reach a big enough size to where we have enough people, they're intended to spin out subgroups. And so if the industry interest in NFTs continues to build, and we can get enough of a consortium of interested businesses, I'd love for our technical steering committee to spin off like an NFT uh, group that just focuses on NFT technology, what's coming down the pike, how to get ready for it, and it
yeah.
would be composed of developers and businesses that are interested, that have a economic stake in that industry.
Mhm. No, I totally agree, and I think you need both of what you're talking about. Developing stuff on IPFS and being able to run stuff that way, developing the permissionless software, and developing the NFTs. There's going to be a market for onboarding a lot of these companies, and because people just don't quite understand, but they can use the functionality.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of utilizing a smart contract with an NFT to where, all right, when say you create a piece of code and you lock that up on the IPFS site with a token, and then somebody sells your token, well, you get a little bit back from that sale. I like that idea.
I think that's what
You
is
know,
really a lot of the reason why artists are getting so attracted to NFTs is that exact use case. I've had a chance to talk with several artists over the last couple months, and they all say that same thing, that ability to track a sale on the blockchain. And then I've even talked to artists who already have the clause written into their contract that if you sell this artwork, I get like 5% of that sale. But even
yeah.
though even that's fairly uncommon, but even though artists have that written in, they never collect on that because there's no way to verify it. But if you have an NFT on
It
the
is very
blockchain,
hard.
now you can verify it.
Well, and you look at it this way too. So I don't think that look at Spotify's how they do things. Everything's from their central server. You pay an access fee, and then you access whatever, and then the artists are at the whim of Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now imagine you as an artist upload your album to an IPFS website that's protected through an NFT token. You sell that NFT token, and somebody would load that NFT token into their iTunes program, something like iTunes. It doesn't have to be iTunes.
Mhm.
And that program would basically unlock the functionality of being able to stream that music. Now, you can add stuff to the IPFF's website, such as it's looking for background information. So you can prevent something like SoundCloud, or not SoundCloud, it's Soundflower. I don't know if you're familiar with that software, but it allows you to route audio from one location of on your computer, like your audio card, into a digital audio workstation. So it's really easy to copy any song you want. So you could essentially pay for a month subscription of Spotify and rip every song you want into your digital audio workstation, chop them up and make your own WAV files, and then cancel your subscription. Right. So like there's a question of how do you prevent that as an artist? Well, if you have a program on the IPFS website in which the data is stored, then it can do something like running background checks on processing to make sure that that's not happening. Now, you're never going to prevent somebody from taking the output, running it into another A to D and into another computer. That's just not going to happen. But you have to find that sweet spot where you make it easy enough for the consumer that pirating is too hard. Right.
Right.
And
it's convenient enough to just pay for it.
Exactly. And then wouldn't it be nice, like we used to have secondhand CD markets and record stores, right? Well, this allows for that again. Right. Now you own this, and now you can sell this, and I think that's a pretty cool thing as well. Or you're talking artists, say you have an NFT page for an artist, before the encryption stuff starts up, something that'd be really easy for artists right now is to say, all right, I'm going to create a website on IPFS. It doesn't have to be IPFS. I just prefer it, because I think it's the future. And then I'm going to sell a token that has the URL address of that website, right? And then this is where I'm going to post my next single before it's online. And I'm going to sell this token to my base fans, my base 1,000 fans, right? And then I'm going to just rotate the content that's on there. So now this token becomes this special access content token. And so you're driving interest of your fans that way.
See, I can see technologically how every step of that would be accomplished. So I'd love it if a business or an entrepreneur like came into the PSF community and we could show them how to fork our software, walk them through the landscape of everything they need to know in order to achieve an app like that, like for artists to publish music and sell directly to customers or to consumers. Like that technology exists. It can be done today. I know how to do it. I don't have time to do it or interest in doing it because I'm working on other things. But this is why I'm hoping that we can grow our community of business-oriented people who just need a little coaching to be pointed in the right direction to innovate like that.
People say, hey, this is the future. This is where things are headed. And
unfortunately, he sounds like he's in the future.
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, you're breaking up quite a bit, Aaron.
You should wrap this up anyways.
He's
there
gone.
He goes.
Well, let's wrap up and connect with him directly. I mean, he's got some great ideas that... there he is back again.
Oh, there you are. Yeah, why don't we wrap this up and we'll take it offline and let's keep this conversation going on the Permissionless Software Foundation Telegram channel.
I noticed you said in the Telegram, you have two separate Telegrams. One is for permissionless software, and then there was another one for discussing technical stuff. Would that be the place to have technical discussions, the second one?
Well, the technical one is more specifically for fullstack.cache stuff. Just go ahead and let's get a conversation going in the main PSF Telegram channel. And then if we need to take it to one of the sub channels, from there we can.
I'm gonna upload the buffalo or bison skull that I did yesterday. I've
Cool.
already uploaded to IPFS. It's just a JavaScript right now. You can't download the OBJ file, but
Okay.
you guys can check it out. So I'll
Cool.
put that in the chat and Telegram.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
So,
Nice to meet you guys.
Likewise, Aaron. All right. Thanks, guys, for attending the meeting today. We'll have another CommComm in 2 weeks, and same time next week, we'll have the next technical steering committee meeting. Cheers.